Welcome to another episode of Brilliant Blessings. And once again, welcome to all my children and my granddaughter. I wanted to highlight a couple of BOBs. So we all want to be sure that we're supporting them in every way that we possibly can. And one location is Needs Transportation. Now you can get Needs Transportation for many different things. They are looking to handle your transportation needs, and they can be reached at needtransportationllc@gmail.com, or you can give them a call at 704-930-6682. Another one, and I had them today. Turns out it was fabulous. Some great barbecue, Top Dog Barbecue Smokehouse. That's in Las Vegas, Nevada at 4955 East Craig Road, Unit 3. And we had rib tips. Mind you, they were so good. The sauce was nice. They put it on the side so you can put as much as you want on there. The sides from macaroni and cheese, yams, baked beans, potato salad, everything was on point. You got to try them if you're in Vegas.
Yes, it was. It was delicious.
All right. And so now, if by any chance that you are looking for a BOB in your area, there are several places that you can go online to find whatever.
What's BOB again?
That's Black owned businesses.
Okay.
Or Black operated businesses, however you want to look at it.
Right.
Go to www.webuyBlack.com, and it's just like Amazon for the culture. So try that out, or you can go to www.blackownedassociation.com, and here you can put in your zip code to find anything from household plumbing, refrigeration, all the way to clothing, to food. You can find it. All right, so let's move on to our first segment. We are going to be talking relationships. And we're going to start with women to women relationships. Now, of course, you guys have several sisters, but you grew up in the household with only one sister. Do any of you think that young girls and women are in competition with each other, whether they're siblings or whether they're friends, schoolmates?
Well, I definitely think that there's some competition there, and it don't necessarily have to be bad competition. You know, some competition is good competition too. And the relationship with women, you know, you got different relationships. You do have those relationships of where, they kind of against each other, but you also have those women empowerment relationships where they stand together, and that's just women across all the board. I know whether they're feminists or whatever the case might be. I think that there is a relationship amongst women, and just the fact that they're women, so they have a lot of similarities and go through those same things in life. So there's definitely a dynamic there, and that's old or younger, or let's say mature and younger. Let me rephrase that. And I think there's definitely a dynamic there.
I agree with the notion of there's healthy competition as well. I know of experiences in college. Like, I knew there was some girls in my class that were super smart, and we all wanted to be on a dean's list or compete just to make each other better. And even at the end, we still gave each other the props of who had the highest GPA in the class and things like that. So I think that it really depends on like how you look at someone else's success. If you measure it to your own, then of course that's with anybody, it's going to be some, negative competition or some envy. But I do think that there is a lot of positiveness, especially now going on with trying to uplift each other and support each other and pull each other to the top together. So I think both, I have a lot of sisters more than I do friends. So I didn't physically grow up really with any of my biological sisters in the household. So, when I did have them in the household, it was short-lived and I was young, so I don't really remember too much. But, I think with that relationship, we all, tiptoe around what we tell people. For me, as far as females, you tiptoe on what you tell them, because you don't know what they will do or use things, or, I'm not really sure because I don't have that sister, I guess, strong relationship of a household to know how that kind of works. But, I don't really, I think from work perspective, school perspective, friend perspective, I think that it could be healthy competition as well, and like pulling each other up in a woman to woman relationship.
But in men, you think it's unhealthy?
No.
No, absolutely not. I think men has gotten way more healthier.
No, I'm not saying, I'm saying when it comes to women, do you think women have an unhealthy relationship with each other when it concerns a man?
I think that they can, that's possible for sure. That's possible.
That's really the main.
It's all about what each person wants from the man, receiving from the man. So what he telling each woman.
A lot of times that's y'all biggest fallout. When it comes to competition, that be our biggest competition, whether it's for the same men or just men in general. Like when women come out looking good for today, when women, it's always, that's just women for you, you know what I mean? Like that.
So does any of those things make you wonder about a woman, or do you think a certain thing about a woman if she talks a certain way? If she, huh?
No.
If she dressed a certain kind of way?
Oh,
I want to.
Go ahead, Frederick.
I want to say that I remember a situation where me and Charles was together, and we seen a particular lady, and her hair was dyed a different color than black, and you proceeded to tell me that she had issues within herself because she chose to dye her hair. So can you kind of elaborate on why you felt that way and what that meant?
That was just like if someone put makeup on and they want to make themselves a little brighter. So, I don't judge no one.
hey, you know how I feel. Hey, yes, for sure. It's definitely different ones out here now. There's different. Yeah,
I mean, that's the question.
Women. Oh yeah, my bad. Well, if we talk about that, then it's yes, most definitely. Women are way worse than us. We wanna get out. Yeah, women are bad at it because the reason why I say women is bad at it because she gonna make it worse than what it is anyways because she want it to be bad. She want it, especially if she don't like her, she want her situation to be bad. So she gonna say if she got 4 kids by the same niggas, she got 4 kids by 4 different niggas when you talking about her. You know what I mean? Like that's just how women are. They bad with that. They gonna definitely take that. Anything that you going through bad or anything woman to woman, oh yeah, they gonna bash her. You know, it ain't got nothing to do. It ain't even if it wasn't a man, it could be because of a job. It could be because y'all, when y'all get into y'all competition, y'all definitely bash each other for sure.
Let's take it bigger than that, because I feel like, and it's the same instinct, you know, across the board, but I feel like as a woman feels like she knows the woman. She is the woman. So, you know, anybody to me would say that they don't judge is a liar. And that's just fact, because everybody judges. We judge, and if we walk into the store and we say, you know, hey, what ranch do I want? Do I want the Kroger's brand or do I want Hidden Valley? That's a form of judgment. Now, it's a problem when you condemn someone, but judgment is something that's needed. We all judge every day, and then from the outside looking in, when you don't know that person, you kind of, you know, women, of course, since we're talking about women, of course they're gonna say, well, okay, she ain't got a wide vocabulary. It kind of, it says something about her education, and this is all you can go off because you don't really know her. So it's not that you necessarily are condemning that person, but you kind of get a first view, like a first impression. Like everybody say, first impression is everything. So it's like, okay, she dressed this way. You can pretty much tell, like, okay, she dressed this way, she talks like this, you know, what if she got goals in her mouth? You instantly like, oh, man, she probably from the hood or something, you know what I'm saying? Or if she's in a business, a suit or whatever. Not to say that it's right, because you don't know what somebody's situation is, but and then you'll judge them on that way. Definitely, there is women judging women daily, and I think that's just a normal. I think that's just something, a normal attribute that somebody would just have, period. And yeah, it may be a little bit harsher, like I said, because women feel like they know women. And you know, it can be bad, it can be good, you know, and it just depends on that woman who's judging, you know, and how she feels. It's all just an opinion, you know. So definitely.
And even with that, like I said, even down to it is all just the opinion, right? But the opinions is always formed around facts. But
Right.
but when me and the woman see another woman and we both looking at the same situation, you can guarantee if I look at it and it's bad, she look at it and it's 10 times bad, especially if it's a situation of reality, like your kids running in the street. You know what I mean? I might be like, dang, Shorty need to get her kids. She tripping. You a female. Her approach gonna be whole different to her seeing another woman's kids run out of the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because she's a woman.
Out the gate.
She feel like it's rightfully so.
Rightfully so. So she gonna go off about this. So she might go to 10.
She feel like you a man. You naive. You don't know women like I know women.
Right.
You know, so her judgment is way more severe than a man. Like a man, you know, she pretty, you know, she rocking, you know, she you know, it ain't that bad. You know, to me, it ain't that bad.
Especially a nigga like him. A kid might run in the street, the mama come out looking all good. He's like, oh, I got the little dudes. Come on, little dude, chill out. He ain't gonna say nothing to her crazy at all. You know.
What you thinking, Michaela, from a woman to woman perspective? Do you think that, you know, you feel like sometimes you're judged or prejudged based on looks, speech, job?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like for sure, like you're going to be judged. How you perceive yourself and show yourself is, or how you sit when you come into a room or any of that, you bring an aura. So whatever that aura is, it's going to be read. So if you bring in negativity or you're bringing positivity, if you're bringing class, if you're bringing trash,
if
like
you're
that will
bringing
all
trash,
be
and that's
all
real.
going to
And you know what?
show.
And that's you know what? And I know we haven't got to that part, but when we get to that part, I do have a discussion on that part. That's real. Whenever you dealing with anybody, and a lot of people on, when you dealing with somebody, everybody, when you go somewhere, they recognize the difference between class, trash. They recognize vibe, like in every element. And sometimes men and women they think they giving up a vibe and they're not. And even me, I've been in that situation where I've been like, I thought I was giving up this cool ass nigga vibe and I wasn't. So that's why I say that's why I say like
well, that brings us, yeah, that definitely brings us to the next topic, man to man. And so you're saying that you sometimes are portraying this vibe. So do men, you know, feel the need to kind of beat their chest, or, you know, definitely have competitions, or even have brotherly love or love for each other and is cool with it?
I mean, that's a fact. That's a part of all of that is a part of our nature. I mean, we have our brotherly love for those really close to and connection with. And the competition that we may have with those ones may be more of a friendly competition, a motivational competition, nothing more than that, all love, But then we got those, that it's not that way and it's the other way around. And yeah, it's competition and it's like, yeah, it's that step on, like, yeah, you know what I mean? It goes that way. So it's a vice versa. But yeah, it's always in every way, competition, whether good or bad for men, I believe. You got some men that they'll say that it's not a competition, but the competition is within self, period. You know what I mean? Like, to be somebody, like, it might necessarily be that competition, like I said, to where you're trying to put the next man down. But it's like to be somebody, to have something. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person that don't have nothing, that don't got nothing going on. So when you look at you judge it like that. You know what I mean? When you looking at certain things, you like, I ain't rocking with that. I don't, you know what I mean? I ain't getting close to that, because you are trying to, whatever, get somewhere and trying to be somewhere for yourself, especially for the men that's growing up, you know what I mean? But for sure, it's always gonna be, competition, whether it's good or in a bad way. I believe. I could be wrong.
Definitely with men. Definitely with men. I mean, like you said, it's in our nature. So it's like, you walk in that room and we all men here, and it's like, okay, you got some men that go about it the wrong, want to beat their chest, and they really intimidated, so they want to make it known that they somebody, even if they not, they try to, make it known. And then you got the people who feel like it's not a competition. They ain't even got to say nothing. And,
Right.
that's still a form of competition though. Like, I don't even have to say.
Right. That's a form of competition. And when I go amongst my guys, but when that same guy that didn't probably say nothing, he might go against his guys and be like, man, I was in the spot, man, about 17 clowns in there, man.
Even though he didn't say nothing, he definitely knows, man, these dudes was in there, man. You see they, doing all of this and doing all of that, He
Yeah,
definitely,
for sure.
he just didn't feel like he had to show himself, and but it's definitely a competition there. But and judgment, and especially, I mean, a lot of the things we do, to be honest with you, don't a lot of things we do, like especially when we showing out and all that and stuff. To be honest with you, if you in there really, if you've been in the real room, it don't even be for the women, it be for the men.
That's a fact.
The women, see, women gonna follow suit.
They just follow suit.
We don't we really, it ain't even really for the woman's attention. Like, she gonna already give the attention or whatever. But then you really want if you could get the men's approval to where that you're respected, that's really Godfather there. Now you're actually moving. There's a movement.
And it's a thin line when you're doing that between, accomplishing that and being straight cornballs. So it's a real.
That's a fact.
Real thin line. Like, it's real thin.
That's a big, it's a big thing, far as like a lot of these dudes is doing it, not necessarily. A lot of dudes is doing it for, but mostly they doing it so other guys, so they can get the respect of other guys. Because if they can get the respect of other guys, then the woman is just gonna automatically follow suit.
That's a fact.
He's gonna follow suit already.
All right.
Yeah.
That's about
Okay, so now, do men want to empower, love? Do they want love, or are they out here just wanting to lust?
tell me.
I mean, that's just that.
Love and lust from a relationship. Yeah, I think to really love somebody, you gotta love, you gotta be attracted to them. You gotta love, you gotta wanna. I need a synonym for lust. You gotta drool over them. So it's a tricky question.
Gotta have an attraction, so to speak.
Nah, that's deep. That's
Pick,
real.
I mean, even piggybacking off of what Cork is saying, too, it's just like I feel like everybody want to be loved. I mean, I think that's just a natural thing amongst us as human beings. We want love and we settle for lust. As we feel whether in our own issues or experiences or whatever, we may lust after people, or we may accept the lust after us. But truly, I think that everybody honestly want to be genuine love, whether they know how to receive it or not. That may be, that's up for grabs there. But genuinely, us as humans, and I think that we all really want to be accepted and loved, and we go about it in wrong ways. And and it's hard for us to trust. We got trust issues and stuff like that. But at the core value of that, I think we all want to be loved, men or women, regardless.
Yeah, no, like that's yeah, we all want love. I mean, some of us, like I say, everybody want it in different ways. But if you're talking about just the ultimate husband, wife, yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody man want that. Whether they can have that or not is another story. But
Even if we could just love ourselves, a lot of us don't know how to love ourselves, and you can only love to the point of which love is. So you know even loving yourself, you wish you could love yourself better. You wish you could have more discipline. You wish so uh and you might say you love yourself, and people might say you don't, and it's kind of it's a tricky thing, like Quirk said. But I think ultimately, like I said, everybody want to be loved, even if it was just love from themselves. I would still want that.
Mhm.
yeah, no, like I mean, that's definitely 100. I think that's probably really what it really comes down to. Like, I think that's the love that you the love that you have for yourself or you don't have for yourself. You try to fill in the blanks either. Definitely the love that you don't have yourself, you try to fill in the blanks through getting it from other people.
Through
You know
lust.
what I mean? I mean, not necessarily lust. I'm just saying through getting it from other people, period, because it's not necessarily having anything to do with lust. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you got cats that ain't never had no friends who will go out here, who will get a big boy check and go out here and spend money just to have people around, like and I know it. And I know, like, man, when people will come to him 100 times, like, man, you tripping. And they know it, like, man, I ain't tripping. I don't mind, but they really don't mind because they ain't really never really had so many people who showing them attention, that many friends. So sometimes you'll do certain things to fill those certain voids. You know what I mean? Like when you, like you said, the biggest point, when you don't love yourself, that's where it really start at. You know what I mean? Having that much love for yourself. And honestly, that is a hard thing. I think we talked about this, like to build for yourself, you know what I mean? Especially if you didn't grow up like that, where you just had like a lot of love from, your parents, your aunties, your uncles and stuff like that. It is hard when you get to a certain point where You like, okay, you start to do it yourself and you start to realize that you're doing it wrong, especially if it, because a lot of times, you loving yourself becomes abuse of alcohol, abuse of drugs,
Pretty.
abuse of,
To touch back on to the question Mom asked, do men want to be loved? From a woman's perspective, I say men do want to be loved, but men are way more like headstrong on settling for love than women are. Women, really will settle on love on, feelings and emotions, whereas and experiences I've noticed that men, they're not going for so much. It's so many women out here. They'll pay for things. They'll rather have their lusts met more than the love part if it's available. So I feel like they're a lot more pickier on the love aspect of it and settling. It doesn't seem like they settle easier for love than, women do. Women what fall and stick around for love purposes way more than a man will. That love word goes way further in a woman's emotions than it does in a
of
man's
course.
in my perspective and timing.
Here's the thing.
But
Well,
we talking about man to man right now. We ain't talking about
I thought
like
it was just
y'all
the
kept trying
question,
to
do
tell
y'all
me. I'm
want to
just saying
be
y'all kept
loved?
trying to tell me.
what's bigger than that, far as men far as men to men, do they want to be loved? Men want to be respected.
For sure.
That's the biggest thing at the end of the day. It's like, respect me. I don't even care if you don't really love me at the end of the day, especially when it comes to another man. And but have enough respect for me to not, you know, show the show like, well, you just don't love me. And I ain't saying you got to love me, but respect me. And I think that's the biggest thing amongst men versus,
That's a
hey,
fact. That's a
love.
fact. That's
Men
a
would would definitely respect is bigger than love.
And we
For me.
talk, you know what? That's crazy because me and bro just was talking about this on some one-on-one conversation earlier. We wasn't one-on-one. It was somebody else in the mix too. But we was just talking about how and bro was expounding to me on it's different attitudes with different situations when it comes to dealing with them. You can either be the type of guy that just walks away and hey, I'd have told you one time, it is what it is. You don't, you chirping, you still doing that, I'm gonna go ahead. That's the way he deal with his attitude. Go ahead, move on. Ooh, it ain't nothing. And then you got those people that are, they're defensive. You got those men that are defensive and selfish and egotistic and violent. And
since you brought up that brings us to our next topic, man to woman. And my first question is, how do you define masculinity?
So we show that we don't want to fail. So when we fail, we 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 sometimes erupt into like feminism. I say it's a feminism side. It's weakness. It shows it's and a great masculinity side that I want to be confident at just knowing what I'm doing, and then when I make mistakes, I'm quick to point the finger, or because I'm upset at myself. So yeah, it's a double standard where we all want to be, have a strong, confidence in ourselves so we can all be a leader and work together, not, yeah.
It says that masculinity is a set of attributes or behaviors or roles associated with men or boys. masculinity can be theoretically understood as socially constructed. And there is also evidence that some behaviors considered masculine are influenced by both culture factors and biological factors. So now, as that puts out, it's saying that masculinity here is more behaviors and roles associated with men or boys.
So I want to say this.
I feel like it's associated. Me personally, my bad, but I feel, just to answer that question in particular, I feel like it starts when they boys.
So I want to say, first of all, I think a lot of people have it misconstrued and confused on what being feminine is and what being masculine is, right? Because when pride comes in the way of a man, also he could think different traits would be feminine, or and what it does is he has like Charles was saying, well, you erupt because you think that's masculine when it's actually feminine,
Right.
because you're not in control of the situation, right? Masculine, someone who's masculine usually is in control.
Okay.
So you think you're putting out masculinity, trying to show you screaming, you trying to beef up your chest and all of that, but your insecurities show femininity, because now you're working actually off emotions and you're thinking that you're showing masculinity when you're really not, which is why you erupted. Now, being feminine is obviously someone is, it's a nurturing act. Women are natural nurturers. That is how they show their femininity, which is, men are nurturers as well. So we all have, and that's how you defined it, because we all have those.
There it
Those
is. There it
we,
is.
it's all about your narrative, because we also can be nurturing as well. So it's all about you being okay within yourself to define what is masculine and what is feminine for you, because the world will tell you this is masculine and this is feminine and this is being feminine, but in truth only you can really kind of define that, and you will know whether, like far as we both have both tendencies, and it's whichever one you would choose to push out, and however you decipher on how you're showing your masculinity. But the traits, honestly, is really no way to define what's it's all an opinion to me. You know what I'm saying? Like if you could be, you can be masculine and also be nurturing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Which would
So
be
I think a lot of people have a confusion on what actually being masculine and what's actually being feminine.
I agree.
Well, I think, and that I think that's the confusion within self. Like I totally agree 100%
Right.
with you.
Yeah, true.
That's like within self. Knowing like it's an emotion like, dang, I was wrong, I was tripping, that ain't the road I need to go to. And so like certain things, like even me, I have those times all the time. So yeah, I think it's just really within yourself. But like masculinity, for me, like I said, is, it starts when you're a young boy, and like a lot of things I missed, as a child. Like I didn't understand how to work and all that stuff. Things that I felt like I had to teach myself, or my mother taught me. You know what I mean? So it's like coming from a woman, you learning these things. It's like that's the only way you see it. So a lot of times I feel like, I had, prison built that in me. You know what I mean? And the streets versus my father being there to teach me, the difference between masculinity and femininity, And it's okay to, you know, to the nourishment. It's okay for a man to be nourishing, to be loving, to be caring, to be, you know, not growing up off a movie that you see where you know, you think that you're supposed to be this way in a relationship, and if not, man, you ain't no man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I like that mom read the definition so that it's reminded that a big part of masculinity and feminine and being feminine is what we are taught. So what was our upbringing? Somebody has told us that these things are masculine, these crying is feminine, playing with this and
yeah,
wearing this, or in the same thing culturally. Culturally is, oh, if you're a black man, you act like this, if you're that. So we got a lot of that of what tells somebody to be masculine of okay, there's been a time where masculinity was they beat on their women, they have this type of control, or they are the ones the breadwinners in the home. That's what makes him masculine, or she clean, she this, or she is more of these. But understanding that those are just one part of being masculine and feminine, of that part of it was just instilled in us that this is what this meant. And sometimes we have to go back to the actual meaning and what the definition, and understand that there's more to that. Understand that, like Fred was saying, situations come into play, but do we go off of that of what Cameron said, of what we know now, or back of the definition sometimes on, well, I think like what Corky was saying, like, oh, because of this, I feel weak, I failed, instead of understanding as we got older, failing or having a downtime is not feminine, is not makes you less of a man, or lessen your masculinity, or shouldn't lessen your masculinity because of a weaker moment that you don't feel as empowered as or as strong as a man. So
that's
I
a
do
fact.
like that.
And that's why we can't, you know, I can't express myself like I couldn't get on a bus full of people and start crying. Like even if something was crazy happen, like I'm ready to get somewhere and let it out by myself and have this moment to myself versus all around people. And that's really not a good thing. You feel me? Like it shouldn't be like that. It should be to where I could express myself anywhere and I don't have to feel weak or have to feel like somebody looking at me like it's a problem. Like, what is wrong with this man? You know what I mean? So yeah,
Can I
that's a
like? I mean, this is kind of, and this is just the opinion, and this is kind of like in a nutshell. But what I would see masculinity to be is um someone who's able to take responsibility, someone who's able to also have control, and also willing to kind of put themselves in another light, far as considerate of that other person. But in the same sense, I would say that's also femininity. So when I say that, and you can have a woman can have too much of masculinity and a man can have too much femininity, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, know who you are as a woman. A woman needs to take responsibility and control, and the consideration that she is a fact a woman. And the same thing to do with a man, but they're both kind of like one and the same, like almost up and down. It's almost like the opposites attract, but you have to know who you are as a person in your own likeness. Now, a lot of things now is so can misconstrued it with this non-binary thing going on here right now, you know, and which hints that it's all one and the same. Obviously a woman comes from a man, or whatever the case might be. So we're all humans. And the thing is, I feel like it just goes back to just kind of tapping into you and being able to show that naturally. Obviously, women know that, hey, I'm not naturally stronger than the man. Tap into it. That's how you show your femininity.
Mhm.
A man may say, well, I'm stronger than this woman, so maybe I can go out here and change the tire and stand in the rain versus her, and I'm a little bit stronger, to get the job done. That's tapping into the fact that you're stronger and maybe can withstand more trauma or whatever the case might be, but it's being able to tap into your natural attributes just as a man and as a woman. And that's how you show whether your femininity or your masculinity.
Okay, well, great. Well, that brings me
I
to
love doing that. That's so fun. Hey, babe, can you open this jar? Because it's
is
super
it
hard.
possible? Is it possible that if the man is the sole breadwinner, to have a healthy partnership with a woman, or with those around him? Does he see this as the power play, or as just his duty as being the man?
Naturally so. Naturally you want to be the guy, naturally, hey, whether it's naturally or society, but I'm more leaning towards naturally. We're protectors and providers. We're hunters. So if you're the breadwinner as a man, you kind of feel like you doing your due diligence, you doing what you're supposed to do as a man, and that plays a role on just how you feel about yourself and what's going on. So naturally, so yeah, a man is feeling like he's doing what a man does, so you good.
So now what if it was the other way? What if the woman
Hold
was
on.
the breadwinner?
Okay.
Would you still feel like a man, or would you still feel as the head, or would you still feel like you are contributing, providing, and protecting?
You can. It's touchy because it also depends on that woman, if she allows you, like far as if and let's not say allow, it's also if that woman doesn't put it in your face that she's the breadwinner. If she knows her place, far as, and I ain't saying her place as like she's, oh, this is where you're supposed to be as a woman, but just knowing that, okay, you're the man naturally, so hey, you are still in fact the head of the household, to lead. Even though I make more money than you or whatever, I still don't feel like that's my place to you know, assassinate your manhood as naturally being the protector and the provider. Now, if a woman does not respect that because she simply makes more money than you, then now, yeah, you get the feeling like, oh, hold on, what? Nah, we ain't on that, and just naturally it will get on the man as well too, because he does want to be the breadwinner. He does want to have that, and sometimes that's just not the case. So hopefully, as a woman and bringing out that femininity in a woman, she could motivate that man to maybe, go out and maybe do something a little bit more or whatever. And if he just can't, then he can't. But maybe her, empowering her man or whatever the case, then it would lead him to be exactly who he needs to be.
It's all before we even get into that, because that's just a level 2 of it. That's perfect, Fred. But there's also the level of, it's always about, what is the money being used for? Are we using this to pay for this relationship, or are we really in this relationship? Because men with money and women with money, sometimes you can say what you want in that relationship if you are running that relationship financially. In both perspectives, the mindset goes there. So like you said, it's on a women's perspective, we have that notion of, are we using this money like we running the situation around here, we doing what we want to be doing, or we actually in a home, in a relationship, wanting that to work, wanting our man to still feel empowered, but feel like one of us is blessed to be able to bring something to the table to keep us afloat, to be able to, have a good lifestyle together, and we want to share that wealth? Or do you have that the opposite way with a man too, of bringing it to the table? He want to be able to do what he want to do, let you live good too off this baby, but that comes with different responsibilities on both sides. So I think it's always about how that money is portrayed first. Like, how does the person with the money see the money? And then we go into now, how is the other person being treated on their feelings and all of that? Because the money person dictates that relationship first on how they feel about money. And then we go to, you know, what relationships, because they're dictating that relationship. But I understand Fred's biggest point on a woman's perspective. It's so in that, it being ever in that position, I understand that it is about not, you know, wanting to make your man feel less than in that type of situation by all means necessary. You know, when you're doing too much, and it's little ways that you could be able to just allow. Even some of my aunts I've witnessed, you know, in those type of situations where if you bring more to the table, it's about having fun, it's about still, you know, bringing it to the household. It ain't just your money, it's the household money. And it's certain language you use with that, it's certain ways that you know, go about things. More things are jokingly, you know, so it's about the relationship, but it's always about the relationship with the person that's making the money and how they feel about that money first, for sure.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, the truth of the matter is, let's be truthful here. Usually, whoever is making the most money, not regardless of eventually, they will make it known that they're elevated somehow, some way. They will make it known that they're elevated. Now, your morals got to tap in to say, you know, and it's kind of rare for people not to do that, but they're accomplished in their own right. They you know, they want to kind of obviously live in their own glory. Self-preservation is every man's first instinct. So it's like, sometimes it is hard to not show that you're elevated, but if you could be mindful to say, you know, hey, like you said, how do you feel about it? What is this using for? Hey, this is for both of us. This is, you know, this is not a competition with my partner. You know, then that man could be okay with it. But the minute that you are you are trying to show yourself more elevated than me just because of your financial status, now that becomes a form of disrespect for a man. And like I said earlier, respect is key here. You know, that's just the bottom line. You know, so now he starts to feel a certain way, and you know, that's what, now he's lashing out, or now he's, you know, feeling some type of way or whatever, because that woman, you know, she decided to sacrifice her femininity for you know, the fact that her financial status. And a man cannot, you know, hey, if I didn't want you to be feminine or whatever, I mean, you know, I could be with another man. You know, I need a woman who I can come home to, and she is going to, you know, show me, hey, that I am a man, in fact, a man, make me feel that way. You know, so don't, even though I know that, hey, you might be the breadwinner, but don't put it in my face like that. Don't do that. Like, come on, we ain't doing that. You know, so how much respect do you have for me? I mean, it's obvious that you're the breadwinner. How much respect do you have for me? And if you feel like you can overpower me just because of your financial status, and I ain't saying like, hey, I'm better than you or anything as a man, but come on now, we know that I got my place and you got yours. So don't assassinate my manhood. Like it won't work. Men are too prideful for that, you know. Period.
Yeah, OG.
And just
Oh,
and he using you anyway for the money, so he don't even really care. Like, you think you getting over, you think you assassinate me, but you got another one coming.
you love, I don't know if this is quote unquote, but basically say if you love what you got everything you need.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
You'll
Well,
see, you'll be able to see through that throughout, you know, how it play, how it is.
well, yes, I agree. Well, we do have lots to talk about when it comes to relationships and how it is for us in our communities, whether that's woman to woman, man to man, or man to woman. Our
Yeah.
The
You said
man,
what? Oh yeah, like me personally, I mean, I don't necessarily mind, but I do know that anytime the woman makes more money, it's going to get to a time sooner or later she's going to either say some slick stuff, have said some slick stuff, depending on what type of character you are. If you're a good boy and you're a submissive, and that
Yeah.
you're basically submissive, then everything will be cool if everything is going right. Now, I will say this: it helps more if you have a submissive woman who is well off, who is submissive to you and well off, most definitely. But whenever a woman is always up, if any type of extra when it get some type of way, and I know because hey, she might stick around for 10 years for sure doing everything you say, but it's gonna come a time where it's gonna be a wrap because, like I said, she's financially off better than you. She sees that she's not gaining with you, and you've been gaining off her. Especially if she's, like I said, been taking care of the situation down to where you ain't paid a bill. Wrong. There's relationships out there that are very, and I would say probably the man, if he's taking care of the woman and he's fully taking care of the woman and she's living off him, a lot of times that's what he wants to do anyways. We're providers. So that's what we naturally want. When a woman, she's naturally a provider too. So she naturally wants to take care of her man too. But her man better not act up and do some extra stuff. Cause I'm telling you, that same cool person that she is today, she won't be the same person when you done her bad and she's mad at you. It's just how it works. You know what I mean? And so for me, that's where it's like I understand in that like it's cool to be in that situation, but you for sure better be thinking about what you doing while you in that situation. If you in a bad situation and you just like, it's a down situation for you right now, I understand that. But I'm telling you, you better pay.
So
On that, and I want to so we're a product of our environment. Okay. So I want to quote Steve Harvey on this one, and he said, a flea have a 36-inch vertical, right? So that flea can jump 36 inches, but if you put it in a jar, then it'll try to jump, but it'll keep bumping its head, and eventually it'll catch on like, okay, I can't jump that high. I'm gonna keep hitting my head. Now, if you got fleas in the jar, they have babies, whatever. Well, they're not gonna even jump to 36 because they only seen they mama and daddy jump this high just so they won't hit their head. So now those fleas, even though they have a 36-inch vertical, they will jump only high enough not to hit their head because they seen their parents. This is only high my parents jump. So I believe this is only how high I can jump. So it does play a big part because they're looking at your actions. Forget what you said. Like they say, they believe they not listening to what you say. They doing what you do. You know,
Right.
so you have to in consideration that and then now they absorb so much. They like sponges. They are watching any and everything, and yes, they will. That's all they know. So they gonna live that way. They see you doing this and you doing that. Hey, my pops, he just sat around. They're gonna sit around. Because you their hero.
that's why we say, don't do what I do, do what I say.
Yeah, and but that don't
Yeah,
even
that don't work.
Right.
you that don't recollect to you. That is like, well, I see you doing this though, because if it was what you said, then you would be doing it. That's
Right.
how that's how much they take your word in.
Mm.
Like, stand on that. You know what I mean? So they see you doing this, so they figure, hey, this is the way of life. Until you can tap in and say, hey, once you get of age and you start really kind of really knowing the values of right and wrong, and you see kind of other people doing this, and you like, well, maybe I could do that, or maybe I could jump to 36. You start to try different things, and you see what worked for you. But initially, going to do what they seen their parents or whoever raising them
Right.
do.
That's a fact.
Mhm. Okay, well, I mean, and I really appreciate everyone having a discussion with me.
Talk about religion or spirituality, yeah. Hey, I think you should make it known, hey, that there is a higher power, especially if that's what you believe. You know, as just as you as I mean, your children is a representation on you. So I mean, if that's what you believe, then of course you would naturally just want to teach your children that, but also to let them know that, hey, you know, at the end of the day, about being a good person. And since you naturally know right from wrong, I think that you should definitely, at the end of the day, follow that versus, you know, what somebody telling you or whatever. Like, hey, tap into just you being a great person and doing the right thing. And, you know, like I said, religion can help that, of course. But the real thing of the matter is just teaching your child how to live morally correct and having integrity and just being a good person. Um, and like I say, you can take the religion or the spiritual route. I think that it should be definitely made known, but it shouldn't be forced. And I think that you should just kind of play it like that, honestly.
I think that religion should be known and made aware of in my house because to my kids, because other kids and other people know about religion. But as far as following religion, I mean, I, I don't. I'm of no religion. I'm non-denominational, so I feel like, just for them to know who God is, hey, there is a God, but as far as them going out saying, hey, I'm a Christian, you're a Jew, you're a Muslim, I'm a Buddhist, I just don't have, I rather them talk to everybody. I
Right.
don't want them to be so religious that they feel like, hey,
They
somebody else is different from them because of their religion. So,
Anyone else have any comments or thoughts about this? I really appreciate you guys coming along and sharing your brilliant blessings with us today. And until next time, we'll see you. It's all love. Thanks for
All
joining.
right. Love y'all. Thank you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.